Hello and welcome to The Creative Kobold. My name is Gaira and today I'm going to show you something I got, which is the Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage board game. This board game, unlike most D&D board games, comes with a normal edition and a premium edition. And usually you only have unpainted plastic minis that you have to paint yourself, and they are completely opaque. The bad thing about the normal edition of this is that this set has a decent amount of transparent or translucent effects on their miniatures, and that does not transfer so well to completely opaque plastic. No matter how many hours you spend painting them, it will not turn opaque into translucent. So I paid a bit more for this and got the premium edition. So first off is the hero characters. We have a very interesting elf cleric of the grave. He's got a nice small spear there, as well as a guitar on his back. And there are a lot of tiny details on him, which I very much like. Then you have a human storm sorcerer. I really like that his spell effect isn't anything big. It just shows that he knows magic, he is about to use magic, but you don't know what kind of magic. Very interesting sculpt, not overly detailed, but it I kind of like that. Sometimes details can be too many details can subtract from the miniature overall. Then there's a tiefling battlemaster. Decently detailed, kind of a standard fighter character. Nice tail there. I don't have many tiefling minis, so this is a very nice addition to my collection. What's interesting is that the shield does not seem to be painted on. It seems to be a transfer or sticker of some kind. Doesn't really bother me, but just something I noticed. Then you have the human paladin of the Oath of Vengeance. He has a nice longsword there, which he holds with his two hands, as it should be done. Nice purple cloak or cape. Yeah, it's a cape. Decently detailed. I like that. These are pretty nice paint jobs. These are far from the worst paint jobs I've seen from D&D miniatures. I'm very happy about that. Then you have a Gnome Inquisitive, which is a very nice rogue style character. Really like that, and even has a magnifying glass in one of the hands there. That's a really cool character. So those are the five hero characters in this board game. Then there seems to be a couple of factions in this game. You have the veterans. There are three identical sculpts there and paint jobs, and then you have the veteran leader. Now you can see the paint the sculpts, like the swords here are a bit bent and such. That can be easily fixed with some hot water. That's not a problem. but I'm just showing you how they look before even doing anything about those. These are okay characters. There's honestly not that much to say about them. This guy seems to be wielding a long sword and an arming sword. Dual wielding. So he should be pretty dexterous and pretty strong. Not necessarily in game terms, but in realistic terms, he would have to be pretty strong and dexterous to do that. But yeah, pretty cool veteran leader. The other ones are definitely something I can see myself using as maybe guards or some sort of militia or something like that. Then you have the thugs. And the thug leader. These guys seems like they are built of muscle and muscle alone. They are quite intimidating. Their stature, and the leader has a crossbow, which is very cool. So yeah, and they have maces instead of swords, which kind of surprised me, but I really like that. There are so many miniatures with swords, and if they don't have swords, they have axes. So I'm very happy to see something else. Decent paint jobs on these. Nothing big. But nothing that specifically subtracts from them either. They're okay. I don't think I will need to do any painting on them to fix them up. Then you have two NPCs. This is Desmir and Zalthar Shadow Dusk. And they seem to be kind of standard fighters, maybe paladins, sword and shield style. Very similar miniatures, but slightly different in their details, although just barely, and different postures. Then we are starting on the monsters. Then you have the Hags, and sorry if I am mispronouncing that. I have no idea how it's supposed to be pronounced, but these are very cool hags. I only wish that their scarves were differently colored than the rest of their garment, but yeah, it would make them slightly more interesting, and also their faces could use a little touch up. However, they are otherwise very cool looking, and I don't have many hags in my collection from before, so these are a welcome addition. Then you have the shadows. And this is where you can start to see why you might want to get the premium edition instead of the normal edition. Now, granted, it's not so much of a problem with these, but as you can see, these are translucent, translucent plastic, and they just look better than if they were completely opaque and then painted. Granted, not so much of a problem with these, but it will definitely get worse as we get farther into this set. Fun thing about these sculpts though is that they do have some space on their bases. So if you have a small creature, it just fits on there, which is very nice. I wish they were able to place medium creatures on top of them, but that's not how it is. But this works just fine. Then you have the Groung. These are small frog-like creatures. And here's the Groung Elite Warrior. The green ones all wield a dagger. It kind of looks like a bone dagger, while the Elite Warrior wields a short bow. I really like these. I am just waiting for an opportunity to use them in my game, because they are just so friggin' cool. One thing I noticed is that one of these has their eyes unpainted, or one of their eyes, as you can see there. But you know, that's not a big problem. It takes about 2 seconds to fix. But yeah, really happy that these were included in this set. Then you have the intellect devourers. Now, I can only show off one here, as there are a total of 6 of these in the board game box, or in the set, but I took 5 of them with me last time I played, and they are still there. However, very simple sculpt. Not too happy about it. It could... there are basically no details to see what they actually are. So these could definitely be better. I wouldn't mind if they even made them a little bit bigger, because even as they are actually a bit too large for human-sized brains anyway. So yeah, I would rather have slightly upscaled even more and see some more details than this blob that you basically can't see what is, unless you already know what it is and how they look. However, things like costs and such definitely plays into how these are made, so that's just the way it is. But yeah, 6 of these come with the set, even though I just showed 1. Then there are flying swords. a little bent like most of the other swords here, so I'll have to fix that, but you know, it's flying swords. I don't know if there's that much more to say about them. Here again, you would have opaque plastic holding them if you were buying the normal version of the board game. But yeah, these can definitely be used not only for flying swords enemies, but also for things like spiritual weapon. So that's pretty neat. Then there's this gray ooze. It kind of looks like it spirals up into two snakes, which is interesting, and looks like there's the beginning of a third one there. This is very cool, I really like it, and I wish there was more than one in the set, but alas there are not, and I'll just have to see if I can get some on the aftermarket. After all, these are all miniatures that are the same as you get in the miniatures booster packs. But yeah, very cool looking. I mean, it's a slime, it's an ooze, but yeah, I like it. Then we are starting to get into the more specific characters and larger sized enemies. Here is Arcturia, which seems to be some NPC in the game. I have not read the story or the adventure, so I don't know about this person, but they seem like they might be a fey creature. Maybe they're like, it might actually be like an oversized fairy or something. I don't know, oversized pixie. In any case, they are really cool. I do very much like the printed script on her dress there, on the skirt. I think that's very cool. It's a little bit off, but that's okay. And again, here are both the wings and the flying effect translucent, so that would be a problem again in the normal edition. Then we have Trobriand. I think that's how you pronounce that. Trobriand, maybe. So this is obviously a golem of some sort. Probably, I would say, an iron golem, which is able to shoot firebolts or maybe fireballs, I don't know. In any case, some sort of fiery magic that they fling around, making them extra dangerous. Really don't mind having more golems. I feel I need more of that, actually. Very happy with that. Oh yeah, and there's this looks like injection point there, which I also noticed on the ooze, but I have removed it on the ooze. I haven't done so yet on this one. Then you have Murial. This looks like something similar to a Drider, but with a scorpion instead. Scorpion body with a human looking torso, or humanoid torso. Yeah, I really don't see the need for for a long sword. I would think he'd have something a bit more interesting. And he has a giant stinger. Anyway, not really my thing. To be honest, I don't see myself using this a lot. Maybe I'll throw it out there at some point, but yeah, it's just not my thing. Also, I don't like the paint job on this. It's just ochre with a bad wash on it. So yeah, this could definitely have been better. Then you have the Beholder zombies, and there are 2 of them. Now these are very nice, and I really like their paint jobs. These are like half the reason to buy this this board game, in my opinion, if you're buying for the miniatures, of course. This one, for some reason, has had a bit of like a layer of dried paint on there. That I can. It's not. Seems I can just remove it by using a paper towel or something, so that's okay. Again, more translucent material here, which would be opaque in the normal version. Not the worst miniature, or not the worst effect to have opaque. It could be much worse, and it will be in a second. But yeah, very happy with those. They are, I mean, I just love Beholders. Then we have the Skeletor. This is, in terms of base size, a huge creature, and the only huge creature in the box. Again, translucent effect on the lightning there. So, scorpion, mechanical scorpion thing. Interesting. Not sure how much use I'll get out of it. Again, not really my thing, but more my thing than Murial, at least. Then you have Halaster Blackcloak, the Mad Mage himself. And yeah, he looks like he could be used for a lot of things, not just for the character, but could definitely be used for maybe a lich. He does not look very good. He looks super pale and maybe even a bit sickly, so maybe he is a lich for all I know. I haven't read the adventure. Seems to be wearing a cloak of ice, which is interesting. Also, this spell effect, Not sure what spell it's supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be an official spell, but it looks really cool, and you can pop it off like that, which is very cool. And I think that maybe even gives this miniature slightly more use, because you can take it off and put it on. Again, the spell effect would be completely opaque and not look that good in the normal version. Also, each sword on the spell effect there has like runes carved into it, which is really cool. I like that. And then last, definitely not least, the Death Tyrant. One of the other reasons to buy this board game, and one of the reasons to buy the premium edition, as well as if you can imagine how this piece of plastic around the beholder would look like completely opaque. I mean, in my opinion, it should have been completely transparent and not just like frosted glass, but that's just how it is. It could have been better, but it is much, much worse in the completely opaque version. That one does not look good at all. At least here you get a sense of it being translucent, and like the red globes there actually hovering just around them, instead of it being some sort of shield. Yeah, very, very nice to have a Death Tyrant. I saw this one goes for about $50 by himself on eBay, so there's another incentive to get the premium edition of this board game. And you can see the sockets where on the head there, where the eye stalks would have been. So that's a nice detail. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the miniatures in the Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage board game premium edition. The game also comes with like dungeon tiles, as do every D&D board game, which you certainly can use instead of just having a battle map. However, I mainly bought this for the miniatures, and though it was expensive, it is cheaper than if you were to buy miniature booster packs and you got all the exact miniatures that are in this board game. It's still cheaper to just get the board game. So that's a bit interesting, actually. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.